It seems like the change was in ambition. The University of Houston today is a more ambitious university than it was 12 years ago.
Absolutely, no doubt.
What did it take financially to get there?
So, of course, if you can get some financial support, it's always very good. We don't have a large endowment. For the size of student body, our endowment is not much, it's 900 million, and we have 46,000 students right now. We don't have any other form of income either, like you could have oil money or something. We don't have that either. So what that meant was we had to hustle, we had to be creative, we had to find partners, and we had to collaborate with all these institutions in Houston to really find that synergy. Right now, we are very much in sync with the energy industry. Their CEOs, presidents, they serve on the Energy Advisory Board helping us there. We are a member of the Texas Medical Center, and as a result now, we just started medical school and just now looking to get national accreditation.
But in the course of the University of Houston's new ambitions,
Yeah.
tuition went up more than 50%.
Okay.
Room and board went up more than 50%. Student fees also went up about 50%. Why was it necessary to do that?
Right. So you could say that we are an ambitious university, but you can take a look at all across in higher education, whether that has been a trend. Now, I would say, you would say the support and services went up 100%. You would say that financial aid has gone up very significantly as well. And just the opportunities that the students have, that has gone up as well. So,
But why couldn't you do what you wanted to do? And this is a question that you're answering because you're courageous, but that stands for the entire field of higher education.
Right.
Why did it take a tuition increase and an increase in fees and in room and board to do the things you wanted to do on campus here?
So first you have to understand the state budgeting for universities. It's not like you can increase the tuition and do the many things that we talked about, or you can put the money in athletics, for instance, or you can put the money here and there, or building medical school, for instance. None of those things you can touch with tuition money anyway, right? Over the same time period, in 12 years, the state budget for university, and not just mine, I'm talking across the United States. The state's investment in universities has gone down significantly. However, if you think that universities have basically used tuition to fill that gap, that's not true either, because tuition has not filled that entire gap.
Tuition has not filled the gap.
No.
What about fees and the rest of it?
No, I mean, altogether, the universities have worked very hard, and not just mine. I mean, I'm just telling you across all types of universities have worked very hard to also create efficiency. So if you look at it, the dollar per student from a state, they are nowhere at what the support was earlier. So that's one reason, but let me just finish. One other thing that must be taken into consideration, and that is what is expected from a university today that wasn't actually expected maybe 12 years or 15 years ago. To give you one example, let's say mental health counseling. Universities have invested all across a lot of money in trying to address the issues that were not on top of their list that time. There are issues of homelessness or hunger. All of these kinds of things are much more expanded services and support that universities were not expected to take, let's say, 10 or 15 years ago. Because we have switched our mission from not just access, that we are here for you, come and enroll. We have actually switched our focus to success, which means our point is, our mission is to see what can we do to make sure that you are successful. And as a result, you can see that our enrollment has grown, yes, but at the same time, we used to have graduation rate, 40% graduation rate 6 year, and today 61%. And we are shooting towards 70%.
The 4-year is still in the 30s.
Yes, so 4 years, so it's going to come now.
It's still
The 4
below
years.
average.
Yes, but the 6 years now is where the expected is. But let's just talk about not just University of Houston. I'm just talking about all across,
of
right?
all across. But so on the subject of an issue that affects many big public universities, you're right. But just because state funding has fallen doesn't mean you have to then pass on that cost to students and families.
Right.
That's a choice, right?
So you're absolutely right.
It's a choice.
The state reduction in funding has not been passed on to the students. That's what I'm saying, because
How
the
so?
tuition, because if you look at the rise in tuition all across, and if you look at the reduction in state funding, the two don't match up. There's a far more reduction in state than there is a rise in tuition, and that gap has been made by efficiencies that universities have created by doing all kinds of things, by collaborating, by consolidating things. I can see my colleagues working day and night at institutions trying to worry about tuition, and I am very empathetic and sympathetic, because when I went to school myself here, my husband had to take second job and then third job to pay for my tuition, and I almost dropped out. So
And
therefore,
many students here clearly face that challenge.
they do, and that's
many
why
do drop out.
Well, if they drop out for financial reason, we try to make sure. So here you can go for free if your family income is up to 50,000.
But I want to talk
beyond
about that.
Yes, but beyond that also, we hand out so much more in financial aid today than we were doing it before, and we are still enrolling one of the most diverse student bodies in the country. And some of the students, particularly at-risk students, they can be successful, but they require a lot more hand-holding, a lot more personalized attention. So we had to increase in terms of number of advisors, and I'm not just talking about me. I know some of my colleagues who have done even far greater job than what we've done here at the University of Houston.
So what I hear you saying is that tuition has gone up, and room and board and fees have all gone up because you have expanded services like counseling and support,
right?
and because students need more help to graduate on time.
Definitely, but the support in terms of room and board, if you think about it, we always look at it, what's the rental cost outside the university? Because my board will never let us raise the price of boarding here or staying here if the market doesn't bear that outside.
But the market is part of the problem. Are you running here a business or a school?
Well, you think about it, some of the universities get about 5% or 10% support from states. So you ask yourself, how do you run something?
Like a business? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm just saying you have to be sensitive to both sides of it. So American universities, let's talk for a second. There are double mission for universities that are research universities like ourselves. American higher education is absolutely the jewel and the asset and the most sought after product of America, from America. I mean, people still want to come here for education. Why? Because the quality is so good. Now you want to make sure that you can balance the two acts, which is you want to make sure that you keep your institutions absolutely excellent and top-notch in the work. They have to be globally competitive, but at the same time, you fulfill the mission of teaching, as many students as possible. So you are looking at breadth, but you are also looking at depth and excellence, and you have to balance both of those things.